Let's say the pledge. Join me. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen.
First of all, thank you so much for being here. Since we need to win Jefferson County, that means you should all call about 100 people a day for the next 25 days. Okay? Right? You can all do that. You know, it's an organic process. But no, in all seriousness, thank you so much for everything that you guys are doing. It's humbling just to be a small part of this process because it's not a campaign anymore. It's groups like this and rooms like this and the tens of 20,000 people that my father speaks to 2-3 times a day. It shows me it's not a campaign. It's actually a movement. It's a movement of people who are sick of being left behind by Washington, who are sick of watching everyone in D.C. get rich while the rest of America suffers. It's a group of people who want to infuse common sense back into politics. We spoke a little bit about job creation, and thank you, Steve, for your kind words coming in. But for all these other politicians, it's like, oh, it's a magic unicorn. We can just push a button and summon jobs. Well, it's not that simple. Yeah. You actually have to have done it. You actually have to have signed the front of a paycheck, not just the back. And that's
Small
what I look at.
business.
The other side, they talk about their decades of public service. Well, guess what? There's probably some public servants in this room. I know there's officers. I know there's former military. Those are public servants, and they didn't make $250 million off the backs of Americans like our opponent has. My father's doing this not because he needs this job. He doesn't need this job. He needs this job like all day. He knows what it comes with. But what he's doing it for is because he knows he can make a difference. He wants to make sure that every American has the same opportunity to start a great business, to start a great family, to live the freedoms that the Constitution affords us and not ignore that entirely. So this isn't just an election about the next 4 or 8 years. This is an election about the next 30 or 40 years. Obviously the Supreme Court hangs in the balance with Scalia, missing that spot. You have an aging group of justices, many of which could turn over in the next 4 or 8 years. If you lose control of that, that's a generational shift. That's something you don't come back from because, you'll see these liberal policies pushed from the bench. Our kids will be brainwashed by it. They will think it's normal. And that's what we're doing this for. It's for that next generation. It's why we have to start taking care of things like our national debt. Because right now, as a father of 5 young kids, hey, if we all ran our households like the government runs this country, we'd be living on the streets.
Yes.
It's not acceptable. We have to fight for the Second Amendment. I know I actually moved. I'm a big shooter, competitive shooter, big hunter, outdoorsman, fisherman.
All right.
I'm the first graduate of the Wharton School of Finance, where my father went to business school, to actually move to Colorado for 1.5 years. So I lived in Colorado for 1.5 years after school. To be a bartender, and so I could hunt and fish all day. I did. And I did a lot of hunting and fishing and skiing and everything that the great state here has to offer. And I want to preserve that great American tradition of the outdoors to make sure that's available for our kids. I spoke to a group of shooters earlier today, and it's about that. If I can get my kids and your kids off of a couch and into the woods, well, I'm doing them a big service for life. But you can imagine how that conversation went with my father, can't you? Dad, I'm going to go be a bartender. That was one of the more awkward ones I've ever had to do in my life. But no, it is amazing and humbling to be just a small cog in this wheel. But you guys have made this movement possible. I see my opponent and the opponent on the other side, and to fill a room this size as the actual candidate. I'm pretty sure she's writing checks to people to show up. My father's doing that. Groups of 10, 15, 20,000. I know some people are going to go see him tomorrow here in Colorado. Man, that has to say something. There's something underlying. So, don't let the media, because we're also fighting against them. Don't let them fool you into thinking that there's not something special going on here. Because I see it every day. People who come up to me in airports around the country. Don, you guys are doing a great job. Thank you for allowing your father to do this. I'm sorry. You must not know my father. But at the same time, those same people, 25 years old, 35 years old, 45 years old, 55 years old. I had a guy last week, I'm 83, and none of these people had ever voted in their lives. Think about that. And they just said, I registered last week so that I could vote for your father. And that's what this election's been about. It's been about referendum for change from the primaries. From the primaries,
Yep.
you saw that. You know, that was why Bernie Sanders was so effective. Now, you know, he succumbed. He didn't have perhaps the the big enough soapbox to beat it, and he got his nice little beach house on the shore, and he drove the other side despite the fact none of his policies lined up, and he said he couldn't trust her, and all these things. I don't get it, but
Big check.
it's fine. You know, my father's never going to give up. He's never going to sell out the American.
Never going to sell out.
He's going to keep fighting for all of you, for your kids and grandkids. That's what he is. He's a fighter. And he's going to always keep fighting. So it's an honor to be a part of it, even if I'm only a small little cog in the wheel. But as I get to go around the country and speak to all these people, and again, it's not just the group that the media wants you to believe are the only people that are voting for Trump. It's women, young and old.
Yep.
It's Hispanics, it's African Americans, it's every demographic you could possibly imagine. Many of them coming up again saying, "We love what you guys are doing. Thank you. Keep it up. Keep it up." A couple of them are saying, "We love what you're doing. We're voting for you anyway." Because the media's done a good job of painting us in a corner, trying to make it seem like it's a bad thing for you to be doing this. But you know what? When you see what's going on, when you see what's coming out in these emails, I mean, this has to be the most corrupt candidate in the history of U.S. politics. I mean, if a conservative did half the things that are coming out in these emails that she was doing as Secretary of State, all the while lining her pockets and making millions, selling 20% of Russia's or our uranium shares to Russia for By the way, right after Bill gave a very lucrative speech in Russia, so then they can say, "Oh, the Trumps have ties to Russia." I'm saying, what ties to Russia do we have? They sold 20% of U.S. uranium, the stuff that makes atomic bombs, to the Russians.
Yeah, that stuff.
Conveniently, after Bill made a high six-figure dollar check or speech, it's so ridiculous. When you hear what they talk about Christians, Catholics, evangelicals, you hear the comments about basket of deplorables. You see the comments where she says, "Well, you have to have a private position and a public position for everything." Well, which one are the people who are voting for? The private or the public? Because they're opposite. I don't know, but I have a feeling I know which one it is. It's the one that's backed by the people that are writing the $1 million checks to her campaign. And that's what's special about this campaign. We actually, 2-3 weeks ago, we broke the all-time record for a GOP candidate in terms of small dollar donations.
Yep.
Right? $63 average donation. Think about that. That means regular people, real Americans, those are the people that are doing it. Sometimes it's not even a one-time $63 check. Right? It's 20 here, it's 20 when they can spare it. Think of how much that means to us. Because that means we're touching real Americans. That $63 to that family meant a lot more than the $1 million check that some partner at Goldman Sachs wrote to Hillary Clinton, because they know that when they come calling for a favor and they need something done to ensure their interests are taken care of, guess what? She'll be there, as she has for the bankers and all of those people all along. And by the way, that's all coming out. That's not even conjecture at this point. So, that means a lot to me, because those are the people we're here to represent. Those are the people we're here to touch. And just thank you very much for that support. So I was only somewhat joking when I said you got to get out there and call about 100 people a day for the next, get them out to vote, whether it's here, whether it's your friends in other swing states. Make sure that their voices are heard. You can't fill the stadiums that my father's filling every day if there wasn't a real movement underfoot. There's something special. Don't let the media, don't let them stymie you. Don't let them hold you down and try to oppress the vote by saying it's over, because it ain't over. I've seen it too much. I'm not naive to numbers and statistics. I get it. I understand how they work. There's something special going on, and you guys are all a part of it. So thank you so much.
Thank
It's
you.
an honor to be a part of it. Take it easy on me, okay? I've only been in politics for 2 weeks now.